My name is Dexter Morgan. I don't know what made me the way I am, but whatever it was, left a hollow place inside. And I actually really loved the ending of Dexter New Blood and Dexter New Blood in its entirety, and here's why. Everything in general was just set up so well. There was a big enough gap from the ending of the first show to when Dexter New Blood first aired for Harrison, Dexter's son, to grow up, and I really liked a lot of the story executions too. It was a long time after the season 8 finale, which I was honestly fine with, and I think is overhated, especially for the fact that Dexter New Blood takes place in that time and basically fixes its issues. Dexter Morgan with his fake identity Jim Lindsay, because he faked his death in Miami, which a lot of people didn't like too. He works as a gun salesman in Iron Lake, who's also dating a cop named Angela. I think him dating Angela was fine and was a good way to have some high stakes near the end of Dexter New Blood. But aside from that, I loved how the show explored a lot of new, unique aspects. Like instead of having Harry Morgan as Dexter's ghost or hallucination kind of thing, we see Deborah as his hallucination instead, just haunting him non-stop. And I feel like there's a good chance that Deborah is the only true person he loved, which I feel like is kind of dumb, but it also makes sense at the same time. And that aspect I really like too, because it still allows an opportunity for Jennifer Carpenter to return to the character at once, without her character even being alive. Her character can be annoying at times, but still very fun too, and cause a lot of thought-provoking scenes, and elevates things even more intense when Dexter is feeling a lot of pressure. I also really like the beginning of Dexter New Blood. It really showed how fresh and new that Dexter is, especially since he's not in Miami anymore, and he has not been a serial killer for a very long time. With Harrison's introduction was actually pretty cool. It subverted audiences' expectations into thinking someone's breaking into Dexter's house, and it turns out to actually be Harrison. Then Dexter admits to Harrison that he's not actually Jim Lindsay and he is Dexter Morgan, his father. And I feel like there's a really good character study dynamic between both of them, and they start to grow. And Harrison for most of the time during most of the show does not like Dexter, because he's sad when he faked his death and he left him as a kid, and Harrison in general just acts like such an angsty teen, when deep down his mother Rita was murdered in season 4 of Dexter, and that created his own kind of dark passenger, so should we believe? But I honestly feel like Harrison never had his own proper dark passenger, and he was too young to understand any of that, and it was only Dexter's fault who molded him to be a proper serial killer, and Dexter tried to do to Harrison what his father did to him when he was younger, but it definitely failed badly, and it ended up getting Dexter killed, rightfully so, because we go on to find out that Harrison is not as bad as Dexter, and at the end Dexter makes a lot of stupid decisions and gets himself in jail, and it just feels so right and so perfect that Harrison has to be the one who kills him, especially with the line that he says, "Open your eyes and look at what you did."
Open your eyes and look at what you've done.
It's such a great parallel to the line that Dexter says in season 1 episode 1.
Open your eyes and look at what you did.
And the last 2 to 3 episodes of Dexter New Blood was just so great, and I feel like it had such a perfect ending. The parts of him getting arrested and all that kind of stuff felt a bit abrupt, but it also made sense at the same time. Kurt Caldwell, played by Clancy Brown aka Mr. Krabs, was just excellent performance-wise as a villain. He reminded me so much of the Trinity Killer. He was so similar to him in such unique ways, but at the same time they are very, very different characters, and I feel like that aspect of him being very similar to Trinity is what makes me love him so much as a villain, because he is similar to the best villain in Dexter, Arthur Mitchell, from the best season of Dexter, season 4. Overall, it was always going to be inevitable that Dexter had to die, so I really do not understand why people hate that ending, and I feel like the hate is so forced and a lot of people just jumped the bandwagon. Dexter had to die and it was going to be inevitable, especially with the writing of Dexter New Blood. It all led up to his death so perfectly, especially with him killing Logan in the police station. His dark passenger really took hold of him and made him so much more evil, and showed us that even though he did that just to see his son and wanted to escape Iron Lake, he is still a terrible guy and broke Harry's code multiple times, and the people he killed like Logan was just so unjustifiable. Overall, I think Dexter New Blood is a 9 out of 10, and that ending was just perfection. I also wanted to mention on a side note at the same topic, it is kind of poetic that Zach Hamilton from Dexter season 7 is the son that Dexter always wanted, yet Harrison Morgan was the son Kurt Caldwell always wanted. All in all, Dexter New Blood is such a cool show, and it brings on such a refreshing take on Dexter, and whether or not you like the ending, Dexter Resurrection will be coming next year, and Michael C. Hall will be returning as Dexter, so that means he definitely did survive, and I just hope that he'll be evil as ever, but justifiable. Dexter fans, what do you guys think about this? If you want to see any more content similar to this, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit that like button if you enjoyed, and comment down below your thoughts and what do you guys think is the best season of Dexter.
Goodbye. I'm sorry.